Our stance has always been that European Union is not a military political bloc, so unlike the North Atlantic Alliance, its relations with any country who want to develop these relations, we don't see as a risk or as a threat. And it was reaffirmed once again by President Putin during his speech at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. And at the same time, we are perfectly aware that the European Union in the last few years evolved into becoming pursuing an aggressive ideological policy, Russophobic policy, first of all. And we pay attention to how the leaders of the European Union, when they start to state something, lecturing countries that are candidates or who want to acquire this status of candidates. So when they try to lecture these countries, they state openly, if you are a candidate, you have no other choice other than supporting all foreign policy efforts by the European Union, including all the measures taken by the European Union, taken against the Russian Federation. I'm almost quoting. That's how the European Union bureaucracy and officials are talking to Serbia, the country that is a candidate but does not want to lose its independence and to join the decisions that directly contradict its rooted interests, namely its relations with the Russian Federation. It was one of the few countries when NATO started its aggression against Yugoslavia, like the country was called back then, in violation of all the OSCE principles. It was the first situation when the OSCE countries attacked, bombed civilian infrastructure as well of another country that was part of the Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe. They bombed bridges, trains, passenger trains, and TV station and other sites of civilian infrastructure. So when Serbia does not want to forget about the solidarity that was shown back then by Russia, I guess at least they should respect the Serbian people and their historical memory. And I'm not even talking about the further history about the World War II and other events before that. So these unscrupulous demands by the European Union, if you want to be a candidate for membership, you must take a Russophobic stance. In other words, the European Union are proving that they do not want to see any unification in Europe. They do not want to implement the agreements between the Russian Federation and the EU countries on developing joint spaces in economy, in humanitarian area, in the security area, and they do not want to carry out those tasks that were formulated as high goals to create one common space from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. It all has been left behind in the past. Of course, we will be realistic. As for the behavior of the European Union, we will watch its steps, and as candidate states, if they follow these demands or they try to show their independence in the decisions they make, we don't have a lot of illusions that this Russophobic policy of the European Union will disappear overnight or even in the near or long term. That's the path chosen by the Europeans.